Today is December 6th, 2013, and I'm here with the artist Vladimir Kranyk, and he has done the mural by McCrae Hall. Hello, Vladimir.
Hello.
Before we talk specifically about the mural, could you give us a sketch about how you got interested in art and a bit about how you ended up at the School of Art?
Yes, certainly. My interest in art developed from my interest in spray painting that I had during my high school years in Ukraine, and then I moved to Canada and went to the School of Art at the University of Manitoba, and my interest in art developed more there, and I started painting more seriously after several years in the School of Art.
Yeah. So when did you come to Winnipeg?
To live permanently, I came in 2008. And yes, I was still doing spray painting at the time, but then I entered the School of Art and started doing more of a traditional and other media.
Yeah, and you started at the School of Art in 2009? 2009.
Yes.
Okay.
Summer.
So going from doing graffiti art on buildings, I'm presuming, or whatever, everywhere, the leap isn't that large to work on the wall in the tunnel.
No, actually, like maybe the surface itself is quite can be compared, yes, similar, and the size. But in terms of the work itself and the working method, it's quite a big leap. It's very different.
Can you talk a bit more about the process and of how the work came about?
You mean the actual process of making it?
Yes, yeah. So do you do preliminary sketches of some of the images, or do you just start by painting on the wall?
In this kind of work, I think you do need some preliminary sketches, like to establish the general composition and the general where the big shape is going to be and where sort of the important parts of the painting will go. But as I go, like the small detail, I add generally as I go intuitively. When I see how the painting progresses, I add more and more whenever it's needed, or I subtract where it's not needed. So it's a half and half. It's like lots of planning and lots of intuitive kind of very approach as you go.
So you map out the larger elements.
Yes.
Do you look at photographs to get ideas for the works, because I see it's quite architectonic, or do you do it completely out of your head?
A lot of it out my head, especially more like general ones. But if the more specific it gets, sometimes it can be from references, like from books, photographs, other art whatsoever. But in this particular one, mostly it's out of my head. I don't remember using much of a reference in terms of this particular one.
Yeah, I love looking at these buildings. They look like they're in a state of unraveling, or perhaps coming together with this, strong vortex of energy. And I think that's probably an important aspect of this work, the energy.
Yes. The energy was like a central sort of general concept that they was trying to put into this work, because when they were commissioning me this painting in 2012, they gave me very general guidelines to do something that would appeal to most people as possible on campus, just general public. So I was trying to keep it as general as possible, but at the same time I wanted to add some specificity to the look of how it looks. So it's kind of this on the edge of like realism and very like abstract. So it's balancing on that. And yes, the energy and the motion are a very important aspect of this work, and as you can see, it's energy going into the spiral, and spiral is a symbol of development and energy, and is the source of this kind of movement, and this kind of topics I was trying to play with when I was doing this.
Yeah, and it looks almost like it's set within some kind of a landscape or spacescape, because you can read the blue in the top corner and behind as kind of, a space where it's situated.
Yeah, this is a surrealism influence at that time that I had a lot, and I still do often. And I use this a lot because I know it creates that sort of illusion of space, like indeterminate time. Indeterminate time, it's not bound to any specific time or any specific age. But it still creates that illusion of space and that containment in some sort of
Yeah, it's
area.
timeless. Yeah, timeless.
Yeah.
Or and it also kind of represents, infinity and space.
Yeah, something.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think color must be very important to your art practice as well by looking at this work. Very
yes,
vibrant.
Colors, I still do some planning, but at the same time as well, like the actual elements, I do a lot as I go, and I just see what works and what not. The more I was doing painting, the more I'm inspired by more like old master colors often, and some kind of very like realistic, more. But at the same time, I want to balance on the very vibrant and the muted down colors. Colors is a very complex topic. Like you can have combined lots of different influences. Like I said, surrealism, like Dali, etc.
Or even, Baroque-like, large-scale Baroque-like paintings. I get that kind of feeling, right? The composition.
Well, color is very important in creating the moods.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's very, very personal too. Like you can't explain why exactly you use those colors. It's just like you just do like certain like tonality you want and the.
How long did it take for you to create this mural?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, and you probably go in and map out general things, and then you get more and more detailed as you keep on applying the paint.
Yes, that's right.
And then the narrative seems to emerge.
Yes, that's right.
Wow. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.